Nation, what's up? Hope you guys are ready for a killer Thursday. Kind of a thinner chat group tonight, but maybe it's just one of those weeks. But I've got a feeling as the evening goes on, it's definitely going to be worth everybody's time. I've got some positive mojo flowing through my veins, and I've just had like a little taste of whiskey so far. So I think it's going to be a good night. I got to turn off
we got
the
some
volume.
stuff.
Yeah, I had to turn off the volume on the other feed because I was listening to myself a little bit. Yeah, we're going to talk about whiskey picks, which hopefully you guys caught my video that dropped on Monday, where it was like my dream whiskeys. And I don't know how many there were, more than 5. We established that.
I thought there were 8 and then an honorable mention.
Yeah, right. Because I threw out 2 4 roses in there. So I've got some more honorable mentions, and we're gonna go through Brian's whiskey list. I also, oh crap! At some point, I got to get up and get something. Don't remind me. We are trying to develop some coffee bitters at Stone Creek with a bitters company. So I was gonna throw some of that in a bourbon and give it a little review because I thought Nation might be interested in some.
Oh, I mean, cool.
Yeah, that was mean. That was just mean-spirited.
Send some to me. I make cocktails.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you ever had coffee bitters?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, why actually, do you say gross?
I've not actually had them.
Okay.
Well, I've had black walnut bitters. I've had a whole slew of bitters, but coffee bitters.
Yeah, normally a cocktail person has had some bitters for sure. All right. So just speaking of coffee bitters, though, I just wanted to throw out if anybody needs coffee, Brian and I know some people who can get you guys some coffee. There was a thing. Where did I put my notes? Oh, I'm just a mess. Okay, well we'll get to the coffee later when we talk coffee bitters. But welcome, squad. I hope you're ready for a good evening. I'm not going to bore you guys with a lot of intro because I think when we get to this dreaming about whiskey stuff, it's going to take us all night. On the off chance we have some time at the end, I do have some craft whiskeys to taste. But first, what are you drinking right now, Brian? What's your warm-up?
My warm-up is Decadent Ale Fruit Machine. Let me get a lock in on this.
What is it with you and the weird drinks?
Weird drinks? What are you talking about? Come on, just focus in on the can.
You did that shotgun. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I mean, that's a great can.
So I mean, it's warming up. So the Gozas and the sours, I'll mess a lot with. This is from Decadent Ales LLC by 12% in North Haven, Connecticut. I believe I've never had them, but
12%.
The Old Town Liquors in town, they sell beer by the singles, so you can just go in and pull off singles of anything. So it's really nice when you don't you want to try some things but you don't want to commit to a 6-pack, and specifically when they come out with some of the sours and whatnot. So I try and drive up to 450 North, which is in Columbus, Indiana. It's just a little over an hour away from me when they do beer releases, but I like to try and see what they bring into the local store. So I'm not doing whiskey right now.
Wow. Yeah, I have had next to zero beer. I tasted some beer that we were developing with a local brewery, which was awesome. It was a coffee stout. It's fantastic. But yeah, other than that, I have not really touched the beers. Oh, you know what? I take it back. I had a half of a Blue Moon because I had used the other half in some brats. So that was quite nice.
Eric Sawyer's in the chat. He's We've been chatting about beer as well. He was drinking some 450 last night. I was drinking Duclaw. I think I was drinking Duclaw. So you're like, cool.
I'm not really a beer guy. I actually know very little.
I'm not really a golf guy, so this works out.
Yeah, right. We can just have our own segments. Let's talk about beer. Let's talk about golf. Okay.
I don't go wax poetic about beer. I'm not like a super
a geek,
big beer guy. Yeah, I'm not a super big geek about beer. I just think they're fun to drink every once in a while, and it's been a long day. So,
all right. Well,
I will do a bottle pop though, but you gotta give some sort of achievement for me to get to the bottle pop.
Okay,
but I've got it right here. I've got it right here.
A whiskey bottle pop.
I got a whiskey right here that I'll pop.
Okay.
Yeah, if we get to something, whatever you say,
Right.
like in
Well,
terms of like
we're a
likes
little
on the video.
fresh. Yeah, we'll let the audience build up a little bit. Here's what
Okay.
I'm drinking tonight, squad, and this is a little preview of a video I will do. Talk about whiskeys you should be hunting right now. This is a whiskey, in my opinion, you should be hunting right now. This Dickel 15. So Dickel's not for everybody, but I think this Dickel 15 is for everybody. I know it's getting released, which is really interesting, at all kinds of proof points, which I don't know. It doesn't say barrel proof on it, but this is coming out, anywhere from low 80s up to, mid hundreds in the proof range. But guys, 15-year-old bourbon, and it's $60. This bottle I have, thanks to JD Bourbon Approach for providing the bottle. No obligation. He has no stake in Cascade Hollow / Dickel. He just knew I was interested in it. So swell guy. It smells like orange juice and tastes like candy oranges. Like if I had to imagine what a orange candy, not tart. It's not like overly tart, but it's got plenty of like citrus orangey vibes, and then brown sugar, like caramelized goodness. Like you took an orange slice and then you covered that crap in brown sugar / maple syrup, and then you just sat it in a frying pan with some butter, and you just heated that up until you burn that sugar a little bit.
They're not barrel proof though. They fluctuate in proof, but they're not barrel proof.
Right. That's my understanding, which is like why.
What is that about?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I've reached out to Nicole Austin, the master distiller. I'm trying to get her on the pod. I'll ping her again. Everybody, listen. I don't want to spam Nicole Austin right now, but if you guys really want to see Nicole Austin, who's the master distiller at Dickel, on the pod, please go to her Instagram and just very kindly, very respectfully say, "Hey, we'd love to hear you on the Entry Proof podcast."
Do it. We've never asked anyone to do this before, and that sounds kind of interesting.
Weird, yeah, but why not? Let's try.
Screenshot it, and then send it to @Entry Proof podcast.
That you sent it?
So I can see that you've done it, and or if there's any interaction. I'd be curious about that. Has anybody been checking out my videos? I've been starting to post videos.
At least 50.
I know Tom has. I've not done 50 videos. What are you talking about?
No, at least 50 people.
Oh, that's true.
I have, but everybody should, particularly if you're interested in the more technical side, like more technical analysis of like what is.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about this before, but Drew was like, "We're not going to do all that nerdy stuff," and so I said,
"Well, it's not that we weren't. It wasn't.
I am.
That's not exactly.
You didn't want to show focused on it. You didn't want to show focused on it.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
And I do, so I am."
Which is fair. I mean, this is a collaboration.
Of which I will also review the Dickel 15-year.
Nice. I just gave my review. It's dang good. It's viscous. Citrus, fruity, viscous, and caramely, sugary. Not a lot to hate about that. Here's a take on Dickel, though, before we move on. I think this is important. People don't like Dickel because they get that quote-unquote Flintstone vitamin. Yeah, which you know what that tastes like? Just chalky oranges. And as Dickel gets older, the chalkiness kind of goes away and it picks up some viscosity. The orange stays. Like, so if you were really looking for Flintstone vitamin, I think an even old Dickel, pretty much any Dickel product I've had, has been orangey. For instance, this barrel batch 26, which Fred Minnick said was one of his favorites of last year, guess what it tastes like? Oranges. Why? Because probably Dickel, but it's blended a little bit and it's older. It's aged at least 9 years. So, you get the smoothness, the viscosity that comes with barrel time.
Andrew Beck says his understanding that they add the same amount of water to every barrel before bottling. So the proof changes based on that. So
so that is interesting as all get out. So it's like the same concentration of bourbon. Like it's X% bourbon. That is weird. Wow, that is
also
really
this is not exactly it's kind of related to the video you did a little bit ago, not exactly. And I know it seems like there's a lot of guys in the chat. However, if I see a name, this is just a general thing. If I see a name that sounds like you're a he pronoun, I'm probably going to say he. So if you would prefer me to use a preferred pronoun, also, if you're making a chat that like seems like something to respond to, let me know that, or else I'll probably just say you by name or he or she as it reads. Anyway, just want to put that out there. Yeah. So Dickel typically to me, I guess I could probably taste it and think about the Flintstone vitamin thing. To me, it usually just always tastes like the smell of pee. That's what I don't like about it.
Gosh.
So
Jeepers.
maybe I've just had some really bad Dickel stuff.
Yeah, I've never. Now, granted, I haven't had the lower shelf Dickel. I had a Pursuit Series, 11-year Pursuit Series Dickel product that was awesome. It was great. Then I've had this, 11-year Dickel Bottled in Bond, which isn't as good, but I enjoy it. I like it. And then I've got this Dickel 15, which I really like. So, yeah. Hey, squad, real quick, some feedback. The new setup is live. I had a little technical issue to work out with my video from Monday, which I should have fixed for the next one. But what are you jamming? Like the audio's new. I'm not using this mic. I'm using this guy. And then I've got the DSLR with some depth of field. I mean, do I look pretty good? I can even zoom in a little if you want. Like I go full Brian here and get like right up in there, but no.
Oh, really? You have to reach your hand out? I just do. Oh, wait. Oh, it doesn't let me do that. I had a digital zoom on here, but it doesn't look like it's going to let me. Anyway.
I mean, I'm feeling that. I like it, but now I'm kind of like out of the whatever. Oh yeah, this is way too far in. All right, Brian, how did hunting go this week? What are you looking for? What did you find?
Man, hunting was fine. I'm trying to remember. I always have to try and remember since we recorded last. I don't think I did anything over the weekend, unless you recall differently.
Yeah, no, you sent me a picture of another Four Roses bottle.
Over the weekend, though?
No, like 2 days ago.
Yeah, so I got this bad boy. At the distillery in Lawrenceburg. So this is from a run of OESVs that I've been going after. That it seems like a lot of Four Roses people, if you're like one of the super deep Four Roses nerds who goes after runs, have been going after. So there were some older runs of OESVs in a like PS. So that means P Warehouse South Side. Right. So they had PS warehouse information, and the barrel runs were like 26 and the barrel runs 27. This is from a while back that were like, people were like, oh, these are fire. And this is just a new run that people have been going after. And they've been releasing from all stores all over the place. Benny's probably the closest to you, or Bevmo. What's up in Chicago area?
Benny's, yeah.
Probably the closest to you. But anyway, this is one that I had heard some friends say they got to try several weeks, maybe a month or so back. And they're like, oh, it's going to come to the gift store or the gift shop at some point in time. We don't know when. And it dropped. So some of the other Four Roses that you've seen me post recently have also been from this run. But I don't know if it's because it's Derby season or what. But so typically, we've talked about this before. Typically in the gift shop, both at Cox's Creek and Lawrenceburg, you can get barrel strengths, but they've been dry for quite some time. And store picks have been dry for longer than that.
Yeah.
And so even here in Louisville, we haven't been able to find it. And when they do come out, they sell it really quickly. So this is something that wasn't typically the case in Louisville. And now it's becoming the case. But
well, we need some of that in Wisconsin because it's for donk.
Well, all of a sudden, though, Louisville has just been dropping tons of store picks, and they're all bangers. There are OESOs all over the place. There's this run of OESV. Just
why is it so weird? It's bizarre that it would be. Go ahead.
Eric McFarland was at Kroger today, where they released bottles for the Great Steamboat Race, and they released two bottles. One was for the Great Steamboat Race. It was an OESK. They sold out the first couple of people in line. I say first couple, it was like 70 people. Then they moved to OBSQ, but OBSQ has never done a run in tier 6s, which generally just have the highest proof of Four Roses stuff. So Eric's saying that he scored 3 of those tier 6 OBSQs, and I've heard that this is a pretty OBSQ is not really a recipe people go after, but this one's apparently pretty fun. Joseph Brazil, a fan of the OEs. Yeah, man, those OEs. Or what's up, Tom? Think I can find one this weekend. A Four Roses. I would definitely. They had an OESQ at Cox's Creek. I didn't go down there and find it. Here's what happened. Let me tell you this. I'll do a little story.
We got time.
I got this one yesterday before they closed. And so this morning there was a huge line of people waiting at open. And on Thursdays, I usually am working from home because I have the kids. Because Kristen works on Thursdays and also the weekends. So I decided, it's my wife. So I decided I'm going to pack them up and I'm going to go and see if I could do it. But I knew I couldn't just.
Wow, that's impressive. Like, I didn't realize you had the kids.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't get there late. Or excuse me, I knew I couldn't get there early. And I wasn't going to let them sit in the car. And I wasn't going to get them out and have them stand in line. So I was like, well, I'd have to show up after open. So I started driving there. And I hear everyone, like all my buddies are like, dude, the line's getting huge. The line's getting huge. You'll never make it. It won't matter. And so as I was getting ready to come up to an intersection, I saw a local post saying that this Kroger in town has a new 12-year Elijah Craig pick. And so I had one of my buddies on the phone and he's like, dude, you're never going to make it. He's like, we're going to get in 7 minutes. We'll figure out what the bottle count is. Just go ahead and go to Kroger, get the Elijah Craigs at least, and then we'll let you know if you should keep coming. So I went to Kroger. I got those bottles, and then I hear that they had 109 of these OESVs this morning, and I was like, "Crap!" So I start driving. I'm like cruising, and I'm like, I can't believe. Why did I stop? Why did I stop at Kroger?
Who knows?
I shouldn't have, but I did. So I drive there, and all my buddies are like, dude, the crowd's gone. There's like 20 bottles left. You're fine. Nobody's coming. You're fine. So I'm like 10 minutes out. I'm like, what's up? They're like, it's the same. 10 minutes out. It's the same. 5 minutes out. Dude, nobody's coming up. It's the same. You're golden. And so I pull in the parking lot in my minivan. The guys are sitting outside. They're like, dude, go. And I'm like, okay.
Leave the kids in the car.
Well, they're right out. They were right outside the car.
Just roll the windows down and leave some food.
So I go. There was a car next to us that had a dog they were talking to. So I go inside. In 1 minute before I got there, they had let out a tasting, and everybody from that tasting grabbed a bottle of the barrel strength and was checking out. I didn't get it. I drove all the way out to Lawrenceburg and I missed it by 1 minute. Do you guys ever have one of those moments where you're like, man, any one single decision I made that morning could have made the outcome of the day different?
Wow.
I stopped to fill up my gas tank more. I stopped and put air in my tires. And then I stopped at that Kroger.
Your leg though.
No,
and how many?
And it's not like I didn't get one. I got it yesterday. It's just again, it's this run that I just really like. I was like, I gotta get it. So if I get some of this run, they're either to hang on to and drink, or they're to trade for the others in the run. Because those crazy Four Roses nerds, they want to like diversify. They also want like all of them in the run. So it just allows me to also trade for that. So anyway, that was my crazy story this morning. And then I went to Kroger where Eric McFarland was. And I had the kids were with my mom so I could go into the office for a little bit. And it was taking forever to move through the line. And I was like, I got to dip. I can't do this. So they had finally given out tickets. I grabbed one of the tickets, but then I left. And then Kristen was like, no, just bring the kids home, blah, blah, blah. Don't take them back up there. So I didn't go back. I gave my ticket to a buddy who picked one up. I think I'm going to be able to get it back off of him, but still, it was a very interesting day chasing the roses in Louisville.
Well, I did not have that much adventure, nor can you in Wisconsin, really, chasing bourbon. But I'm on the hunt for the new Bardstown Bourbon Company finished release, The Prisoner. It was supposed to hit in Milwaukee this week. So I'm going to hit a few spots tomorrow, hopefully, and try and get one. The squad at the liquor store I normally get fed from, the hand that feeds you. I mean, I feed them too. It's a mutual feeding. I asked them to keep an eye out for it. They have not let me know if they can get it yet. So, but they also get like kind of robbed sometimes where they're told they'll get something and then they don't. So they may be waiting. Last time I asked for something from them, which was the Discovery Batch 4, they said, yeah, we'll see if we can get it. And then I didn't hear from them until they had it in their hands. So we'll see that. And then there's another liquor store, a couple liquor stores nearby. I'm going to check tomorrow because sometimes those deliveries come in on Thursday. The bottles hit on Friday. So I am cutting out of work early to go golfing in Racine. So probably stop by a liquor store in Racine as soon as I'm done.
So just for clarity,
yeah.
I saw that video of you this weekend. Were you using a joke like sand wedge, or is that actually the sand wedge that you have? Because it looked like you were like playing around, and it looked like it was like half the size of your body, if not shorter.
It's a 60-degree
and I was like,
wedge.
certainly.
It's actually
I was like, certainly he's
size.
using his kid's club or something.
No, if you ever look at tour players, like their clubs, their regulation size, they look small. They don't look very big. Now, so if you're using, here's the deal. If you're using regulation clubs, you're probably using clubs that are too big for you. Whereas
how dare you?
I'm just saying, like standard size clubs, I got fitted for standard size clubs, but I'm 6
I think
tall, I
think the joke's on you. It looked like you were fitted for a Fisher-Price golf club.
Well, that's fine. Regardless, I hit that ball way too far. I probably had 20 to 25 yards out of a greenside bunker to a pin, and I flew the green.
God, I hate when that happens.
I am terrible out of bunkers.
I'm terrible at golf.
Benefit. Yeah. Well, I'd like to be better. If I'm honest, I'm probably not very good. But good is so relative. It's like when, it's just
not.
Like
you either are or you are not.
I mean, but it's like somebody who shoots 110 would say somebody who shot 85 was good, whereas somebody who shot 70 would be like, no, they kind of suck. So it's whatever. I'm in the 85 to 90 range. So
well, it sounds like we just need to teach the 100 or whatever person to have better standards.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I did not, I mentioned the Dickel was sent, so that was awesome. Another one that was sent, which I look forward to popping. Who knows? I may pop this tonight, is barrel whiskey. This is Kentucky straight whiskey, not bourbon. And the mash bill is undisclosed. So, but it's 18 years old, which is really interesting. And the proof is money. It's 115.6. So
are these are both ones that you're supposed to give me samples of, right?
Yes. So yeah, I'll send them down with Eric Sawyer. Eric, remind me.
Sweet.
I have something else for you too, but I'm forgetting what it was right now.
Was it some sort of craft whiskey?
Your glasses? No.
Oh, glasses.
But I can.
Oh wait, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Glasses?
Yeah, so let's talk about that now that we're done with that segment. Squad, it was a big week for the pod. First we got our glasses in, so unfortunately I can't
show the nation.
Yeah, but it's not going to auto focus. So if you go to my,
wish your DSLR would do that.
We're gonna figure it out. I'm not a techie. If you go to my Instagram at Drew P Whiskey, you can see a picture of these Kenzie Neat Tasters. They landed today. I did clean it before I poured whiskey in it, but they look dank. I mean, they're pretty rad. And if you are already a Patreon supporter, you will get one, no problem. That's what you. I mean, if you're above the $3 tier, so if you're an $8 supporter, you're in the glass tier. It's on there. You can just read about it. So yeah, if you want one, you can become a Patreon supporter, or I'm gonna put them up for sale on my Etsy shop because that's where I currently have my shirts for sale. So you can check it out. Of course, Brian gets some for free because he's Brian.
Drew was kind enough to send me one, so I have it for you all today, squad. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous glass.
Yeah, it's fine. Ultra fine glass.
Entry proof right there.
Anyway, he'll get some real ones. I just got them. Like,
if you'd like to see me fill that with a bottle pop, smash that thumbs up button.
How many likes do we have so far?
I don't know. I can't see.
We've got 22. When we get, you hold out for 50. When we get 50 likes, you can bottle pop the new Elijah Craig.
Well, I didn't say it was going to be the new Elijah Craig. I just said that I have a bottle over here to pop.
Well, yeah, but earlier you just lifted the Elijah Craig from down there.
Oh, I did. It's also over here.
Oh, okay. You just have a multiplicity of bottles?
I do. Do you want to see what it is? Should we give him a teaser? I just want to see you
do this the whole evening.
Should we give him a teaser?
I don't know.
No, I'm not going to give it away. I just got to get to 50 and you get to see
the other news that won't be available on Etsy is not this. It's the Starlight Pick squad. I mean, if you're a Patreon supporter, you got the notification last night. They're in. They're in. Available for Patreon supporters. Yeah, I ordered mine. I got a case of each, which set me back a little bit. But, some of those will probably get, local friends or family or gifts. So, I plan to keep probably 3 of each for myself. If you're not a Patreon supporter, and you want a bottle, if you want to be sure you get a bottle or bottles of future picks, which now that I've had the baby and it's summertime, we'll start working on those. Patreon.com/entryproofpodcast. If you're not a Patreon supporter, you still want a bottle, you might actually get a shot. We're going to leave it for Patreon members only for this week, so they have a shot to get what they want. And then next week, in all likelihood, in next Thursday's stream, it's our plan to release the link for the rest of Nation who doesn't support on Patreon, because maybe you support in other ways. Watching this video is a pretty awesome way of supporting. Also liking. Great.
Giving Drew a thumbs down anytime he mentions golf. Also a way of supporting the podcast.
That is not. Nope. That's not. Not a good way to do that. Other ways you can support seriously would be if you want to drop super chats. Of course, that's a good way of getting our attention in the chats like this, because we'll be sure to talk about whatever you say, assuming that it's PC and kosher and all that. I have not been.
Yeah, is there something? I know we have some wrenches in here that can help tame comments in the chat. But what do you do when Tom keeps sending you really risque photos of himself in IG chat?
Yeah, that's the problem, considering he's the wrench. You can block him. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all, though, knowing Tom. Yeah.
Just such a hussy.
Classic. He's just sliding into people's DMs.
Classic hussy Tom.
Yeah.
Daniel says send some back.
Send what back? Oh, yeah, right.
Shut up, Tom. Don't ruin it for me.
What's the... Oh, yeah, it was in The Office. There was an episode of The Office where somebody didn't like it when... Angela didn't like it when Kevin made sexually suggestive remarks to her. And then Michael's response to the dispute was that Angela would make sexually suggestive remarks to Kevin. And Kevin's like, I accept your decision. And anyway, that's what that made me think of. It's always a way to solve conflict.
William Wiley says, or send all the samples and some bottles as support. Absolutely, William.
Yeah. William's total hero too. Actually, William, you know what I need to do? I need to bottle pop this guy, which William sent me. Which I just need to send you a whole bunch of these craft samples, Brian. Legends Barrel Proof Wheated Bourbon, 115 proof. This one, they say, won't give you a hangover. The marketing on this Legends distillery, crazy, weird, and interesting. The bottle is nice and sleek, non-age stated. It says winter 2020. Of course, that's the bottling. It's a straight bourbon whiskey and non-age stated, so we're assuming 40 years, right? Yeah, 0 age on here. So, yeah, we'll try that. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. I feel like my palate's adjusted. We'll roll into that. But anyway, squad. So going back to the bottles that dropped, the barrel picks from Starlight. We have a double oaked rye, which I mean was awesome. It's 4 years old, but that double oaked, it doesn't taste super oaky, but also doesn't have a lot of like young rye. So it just tastes like a well-aged rye, in my opinion, with a really oak forward note. And then this apple brandy finished bourbon. Don't let the apple brandy turn you off. I was skeptical myself, but I have a really high bar for good spirits. And man, it's sweet and fruity and rich. And so
this is something we're gonna have to do. This is something we're gonna have to do. So,
yeah, I'm just telling people that they should get that anyway. Yes, we will taste them together.
Right, but the way you just sold it, is saying, hey, don't hate the apple brandy. I know you probably will. But here's all the reasons you're gonna love the double rye.
No, I said I was skeptical. I said when I see the words apple brandy on something that I want to be bourbon, I'm gonna be skeptical. He's gone. We lost him.
Whatever.
No,
I'm irate. No, I'm irate by the way you just sold that.
Why don't you sell it? Then? Why don't you sell it?
I don't want to sell anything to anybody. What I was gonna say is this. That's interesting. So Drew, I got to point this way. Drew, huge advocate for the double oaked rye. Brian, not Drew, huge advocate for the apple brandy bourbon. Squad, we're gonna need you all to tell us your favorite of the two.
Yeah,
not as a winner or loser. I just want to hear what you guys like. That will help us in the future pick things that you all like. But that still means we might bring you something that like is just intriguing anyway. But
yeah, I mean, we really went by palate. We wanted to pick the best ones, and so that's what we did. As I mentioned, I was skeptical about apple brandy, but when I tasted it, I didn't need convincing. It was clearly like, wow, yeah, we're gonna get that one because I want to drink it, and so I'm jacked to get it, to drink it. And what I was gonna say about tasting is, we'll let Patreon members get it. Then we'll let it go up to Nation. And so in like 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, when is Eric going down to actually pick up my bottle?
He's coming in like 2 weeks, I think.
Okay. So probably in 3 or 4 weeks, we'll schedule a live stream where we're going to live taste these suckers all together. So now there's only like 120 bottles of each-ish. Maybe not quite that much on one of them. And I bought 6 each. So, Brian, how many did you end up getting?
So I haven't yet, but I was going to be probably picking up like 2 cases of each.
Oh, so you decided to really go for it. Yeah. So based on our purchasing habits, granted, we're going to use them for other things versus just drinking them in one sitting. But there may not be very many when it comes to delivering them to Nation. So if you want to be guaranteed a bottle, you should probably get over to Patreon and get your code sooner rather than later. Next week, a few fast people will probably be able to get theirs, but I'd be surprised, I think, if it went past our audience to Blake, because the deal with Sealbox is if we don't sell them all, he'll just open it up to general Sealbox customers, and they'll probably sell it pretty quick. If it made it that far. I don't think it's going to make it that far.
I've got Liberty Not Licensed. Is it Liberty Not? Yeah, saying time to bottle pop. Are we at 50?
Did we get there? Wow, that would be... No, we're at 37. Where did he say that? He says time to bottle pop, Brian. Yeah, no, we're at 37. We need 13 more likes to get Brian to bottle pop 1 of the evening. All right. We'll get there. We'll get a few more minutes. Brian, let's get into the topic. We're 36 minutes in and we haven't gotten to the topic. We've gone through our normal bits. We've gotten through some exciting news, which of course Nation wants to know about. So we haven't been pulling anybody along. So let's talk about whiskey wish list, which is just fun to think about. Like if you could score any bottle ever that was ever produced, what would it be? Of course, I linked below. So when you're done, if you didn't catch my video, you can get down and watch my video where I threw out 8 whiskeys with an honorable mention that I would just love to have. Booker's Rye, 1968 bonded Old Fitz Gold Vein, 12-year. Such a lovely bottle. Old Prentice 101 Eagle Rare, 10-year, obviously. Stuff like that. So, Brian, it's time to get to some of yours. Let's start with number 1. And of course, in the chat squad, we want to see what yours are. What are your I call them corniest of unicorns that you would want to score? But Brian, hit us with the first one and why.
You're gonna have to. Did you have these in a specific order?
No, it's not ranked. Mine weren't ranked, but I did say the one that I would choose above all others. I did say that, but I didn't rank the rest of them. It was just as they came out of my mouth. You have yours ranked?
I'm gonna. No, but I have. Give me 1 second to look at this list. I have, I think I have 2 bottles that are the same as your list. I'm not going to say those first. I want to see if Nation can guess.
Yeah, that's great. So 2 that are his 2. And here's the thing. They can't be whiskeys you already have, right? Brian?
I mean, I don't think so.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it shouldn't be because I put 2 that you already had. So this will be good for Nation. We'll see what people say.
But I'll go ahead and get into.
You can throw one out, and we'll let them guess the 2 that I had.
I will say why too. You had mentioned in the video that the bottles that you say don't necessarily have to be expensive.
Right.
However, I feel like all of them are.
Yeah, all of mine were.
I think for it to be like something that's unattainable, that usually just somehow comes with it. But I have one that isn't. I just haven't been able to find it. This is a Russell's Reserve pick called Father and Son Generations. It released in 2018, and it was done by I don't know if it was the Ferrises, but it was at least a collab release with a bar, I want to say in Jackson, called Manship. And they called it Father Son Generations because the owner went with his dad on this pick. So I've not had as much Dusty Turkey as everybody else has. You actually could probably read about this on Dave Jennings' site. But my friend had this bottle and I tried it. And this has probably been my favorite Russell's Reserve. To me, we've talked about this before, but I'm pretty sure my favorite bottling of Wild Turkey has been the donut. And this is the most donut-like profile that I had tried of modern Russell's Reserve turkey stuff. And I'm not lying. I emailed and called whoever it was they did partnership with. I want to say it was the Ferrises. So, which is, Lincoln Road, maybe. I don't remember. I mentioned Manship. I emailed them. I called. I left Instagram stuff. They said, we're going to pass this on to the owner, blah, blah, blah. I contacted over and over and over again. I went on secondary. I threw out ISOs. I cannot acquire this bottle. And by the time I get it, maybe I'd try it and be like, this bottle sucks. But
it's not as good as I remember.
But it was one that was on my list.
I like that. That is a bizarre pick, but it came with a story. I mean, you had it before, so you know you'd like it. So yeah, that's pretty solid. Do we have anybody thrown out and guess? Oh, we did have a few guesses. Eric said Michter's 20, maybe. Joliet Jake says Old Fitz and Chessman, but you already have the Chessman. Dan says, can we choose bottles that don't yet exist? Sure. Why not, Dan? All right, let's get some more guesses out here for Brian. What are the 2 that I guessed, or that I said I wanted that Brian also wants? While we wait for those, before we go on to the next one in Brian's list, Well, you know what? I'll get ready to pop this. I'll start nosing it.
What are we on our like? What are we on our like count? I'm about to finish my beer, so I need to switch over to
41.
whiskey.
So we need 9 more to get to your bottle pop. But I owe it to William to pop this and talk about it. So we'll get to that. But why don't you hit us with your second one, Brian, while we try and get a few more guesses out of the chat here.
For sure. So the second one is I'd actually have to look up. Let me look up what the year was of this release. It was.
Well, you can talk and I can look up. Eric says.
I want to say it was 2000.
So Kyle says it's the Old Fitz Gold Vein and Michter's 20. Kyle Ramage. Kyle, good to see you, man. I wish I was actually seeing you. Eric says Brian for sure wants the Masters Augusta Old Rip Van Winkle pick. Which is, yeah, obviously.
Number 2 was the 2016 William Heavenhill release. I think they had several. It was 15 years old for this release, and they had several different. They were cask strength this year, and they had several different kinds. One of which was down to like 105 proof. The one that I would love was 144.6 proof, 15-year Heavenhill.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that sounds... Gosh, have they ever bottled anything higher than that? 144? And that's
I'm not sure. I mean, them themselves, I'm not sure. Now, and I will say this just as some filler, for a while on my list was the 140.2 proof Elijah Craig barrel proof, which was, I believe, from 2014, old label Elijah Craig barrel proof. But just as of a couple weeks ago, I got myself one.
Nice.
So no longer an old. I mean, still was a wish list bottle. It's just I ended up acquiring it.
Did you pop it?
No, not yet. But I had a sample of it that I finished.
Yeah,
I had it with when Michael came over the other night. We ended or almost ended the night with it. We had a Heavenhill flight.
All right. We're not to the 50 you need to get your bottle pop going yet. We're at 47. Well, now I'm going to wait. I feel like we need to course more legs out. Not really. All right. I'll pop. You're going to drop another one, and then you'll pop. And then we'll both drink.
Boom.
Yeah. We don't have any more guesses on mine. That's fine. We don't have to draw that out. But here we go. Bottle pop from William Wiley. Legends Wheated Bourbon. That was a high pitch. That was not as thunky as I like my bottle pops. It's a synthetic cork.
Must be the new mic placement.
Yeah, it could be. Could have been my form. Not a lot of neck nose on this. I like to give a little whiff out of the bottle and just see how impressive it is. I do like the bottle style, though. I mean, it's pretty sleek, pretty modern. Yeah. That's all I have to say right now. We'll talk more about it in a minute. We're not saying anything now. Are you ready? Why don't you hit us with the two that were the same now? So you've hit us with 2 already. Hit us with the 2 that we had in common.
Right. So the 2 that we had in common were the Michter's 20. I almost did Michter's 25. I got a chance to try the Michter's 25, and from my personal palate experience, the 25 that I had, I think I did like a little more than 20, but I think a lot of folks that I've talked to mention that 20 just is a better pour. It's not as far gone, perhaps. And I didn't have them in the same setting to be able to actually tell. Both of them very, very good. To me, the 25 and the 20 for that. Well, the 20 was a slightly different profile, but the 25 tasted like a cleaner, more refined, more polished King of Kentucky. And King of Kentucky, the 2019 release, is one of my favorite bottles. So I know they have multiple barrels of it, so it's kind of a broad brush there, but I've had, 13 or 14 different barrels out of that run. I'm a big fan. So,
all right. We
and then the second that was on your.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yep.
The second on your list was the Booker's Rye.
Nice.
So
yeah,
Booker's Rye was one of the first whiskey experiences I had that was like a roller coaster experience in my mouth. It was like, whoa, it's doing this. Whoa, it's doing that. And whoa, we're over here. And whoa, we're doing this. Whoa. And then the sip's over. And I was like, well, that was insane. And I have to keep sipping. Now, I thought it was way hot. It was super harsh on the palate, but it was insane. And if you added just a touch of water in it, it's really flavorful, like really great flavor with just a touch of water to tame it. But still, the experience was just wild.
Yeah. Yeah, really remarkable. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime whiskey on the palate for sure. All right, let's talk about this Legends release. On the nose, kind of Sprite, slightly grainy, kind of this lemon lime, spritey effervescence. Mellow considering the proof, 115 proof, not a lot of heat. After I kept getting my nose back in there, the carbonation, like it smells like a carbonated beverage, which is, interesting. But I think it's that effervescence that I'm kind of picking up on a nose. So it kind of came to Dr. Pepper, though, a little bit more rich. On the palate, pretty sweet. A lot of vanilla. Does taste a little bit young. The heat comes in on the palate where it wasn't there on the nose. You get a little bit of the raw grain. Maybe toasted grain. For a young craft whiskey, it's pretty decent. It's a B-. It's enjoyable. I get suggestions of bubblegum. I want more spiciness out of it, but it's wheated, so it's going to be a little bit more on the mellow. Not terribly spicy, not terribly fruity. It's just kind of a sweet vanilla forward. Maybe some licorice, like a touch of bubblegum, touch of licorice, just barely. Maybe some like pound cake. But yeah, I mean it's not bad. Feels like they should have left it in the barrel longer. So standard craft whiskey criticism, but it feels like they're batting with some, with a heavy hitter from a process point. Just like let it rest in the barrel and could be really good. So if they released like a single barrel, well, William, you said you picked up a single barrel of this. Did you pop it? If so, how was it? I'd be really curious to know, because this tastes pretty decent. And so if they're dropping some single barrels of this stuff or special releases, those might be bangers for sure. So thank you again, William, for sending me the bottle. Brian, when we're off the call, we should just go through some of the craft whiskeys I have, and I can send you samples of whatever you want to try.
Sure.
Sweet. So that's got to be like craft whiskey. What was I at? 54. Then I did 2 last week, the ones that were covered in the Teflon tape. And so that took me to 56. That's 57. We're rolling. We're going to get there. We're not even to June yet, and I'm halfway through. So thanks to you guys. All right, so we've had 4 from Brian so far. Booker's, Michter's 20. Some funky Russell's pick that I don't remember. And then what was the other one, Brian?
The William Heavenhill.
Yeah, which that's a cool pick. All right, what else you got?
First, is it time for me to do my bottle pop?
It's got to be, because we were stuck at 49. We're at 52 now. But why don't you?
I want to know what your guesses are. If you can guess, here's another guessing game. If you can guess what I'm going to bottle pop, I will give you half of the bottle.
So it's probably not
How's
that
that?
Elijah Craig. It's probably not
How's
that
that?
Elijah.
No,
Somebody,
I'm just feeling frisky tonight. If you
Yeah,
can
but there's-
guess what this bottle is, I will give you half the bottle. Fine, I won't do half a bottle. I'll do an ounce.
an ounce. There's 67 people in the chat. Yeah, yes, odds are pretty good. Somebody's gonna get something. How close do they have to be? Kyle
You
says
guess what it
McCree's
is. If you
toasted.
guess what it is, I'll give you half the bottle.
Is it me or is it anybody in the chat?
I'm not giving you anything.
Okay, I didn't. Think
Whoever
so.
guesses it right, I'll give them. If someone guesses it right, I'll send them half the bottle.
All right, I think that's a good wager. So we'll give that a couple of minutes. So why don't you hit us with your next whiskey on your list then, and we'll come back to the bottle pop while they guess.
So my next whiskey on the list is 1985 Cheesy Gold Foil Russell
Nice.
Wild Turkey.
Yeah, and you're boiling it down to a year. What's the one you had, like 89 or 90?
So I have a 1990. 1990 is regarded as a really, really good one. And then I took it over to a friend's house, and he said, well, you got to try this 85. 85 is birth year for me. So I always like if I could find something in that. But the 85 Cheesy Gold Foil was insane. It was darker, and it just tasted like it was super good goodness. Super good goodness.
Sweet. Yeah, 85.
Eric McFarland says, what was the question? The question is, Eric McFarland, we've reached 50 likes. I am now about to pop a bottle. Whoever guesses what that bottle is, I'm going to give you half of the bottle.
So Madeira Diaries is just throwing out distilleries, which that is a great strategy, but I think you need to be a little more specific. So if it's Bardstown, it's which finished one. If it's Russell's Reserve, it's which one, the 6-year rye, the barrel strength rye, or not the barrel strength, but the single barrel rye. So I think you have to be a little more specific. So Bardstown finished bourbon, pick one of the finishes for your guess.
Oh, Elijah Craig A21, close.
Oh. You can't say close. Somebody's going to say it. You got to cut it off soon or someone's going to guess. Somebody just started throwing out Elijah Craig releases after he said close. John White says, can you find in 1958 for my birth year? 1958 of what? The Turkey? Because that'd be pretty crazy. 1958.
You'd end up having to find
Cheesy Gold Foil.
Probably some decanter or something like that. They have some old Beam and some old it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not really tempted by the old Beam decanters, really. A lot of them are low proof too. Eric says 12-year store pick of Elijah Craig.
Close.
Joliet Jake says toasted barrel. Doc says EC pirate bottle. Kyle says EC barrel strength toasted, that weird release. Which they didn't do an EC barrel strength toasted. They did the Heaven Hill Select Stock barrel strength toasted. I'm gonna throw a guess out and then you can go ahead and do it. So I know you already tried your Heaven Hill Select Stock pop. What would you have been holding on to that you're okay opening right now on a whim? I don't know. It's you buy so much. I can't keep up with it. You're gone. What happened?
I'm here, but I'm not here. What? Why does it do this? Don't understand.
I don't know.
I was back and I'm back and I'm gone again.
Do you just have like a janky cord?
I don't know what it is, honestly. I've got a different cord that I'll use next time to see why it does this. It just does it sometimes. I don't know if it's just a glitch with Fuji, but
Tim says Parker's Heavy Char. Dude, I want to get that Heavy Char. Brian had a bottle of that, which was open, and it's good. And so I want one.
Right.
So
it looks
need to try and trade for one.
Looks like no one has guessed it. So I get at Tom. I don't think Tom even guessed. He says, "Oh, I know what it is." He didn't guess.
Well, he's playing fair then.
Go ahead, Tom. Make my day. Guess.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, Tom.
Did he not guess?
I'm pretty sure I didn't see him guess. Man, just for half a bottle too.
Max Sloan throws out EC hand grenade. That was interesting. Yeah, I got 2 of those hand grenades when I went to the distillery, and I was let down by the one I drank. It was just really hot. I preferred a lot of the just straight barrel proof releases I had, but the hand grenades are really cool looking. We got Michter's Toasted Rye. Both Tom and Kyle threw that out. Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond by Jolly at Jake. Madeira said he'd take half a can of that beer.
Looks like it's just time to show everybody the bottle.
All right, let's go.
That you could have had half of.
Oh, nice, great.
Where is it?
That's a letdown. Oh my gosh, you can't. I feel like you just robbed the people of their likes. Like
you could have had half.
Likes.
You could have had half or an ounce of this bottle, whichever you prefer. You're
a cruel man. Like we're gonna have people unsubscribe after that.
What are you talking about? This is context. Did no one listen to the episode with David Jennings? This is context.
But don't drink that yet. We're gonna do that with Jason next week. Don't drink it. Put the lid back on. Yeah. So don't ruin it. So next week we're gonna do a fun little experiment with Evan Williams.
Oh, the chat's going live.
The blue balls remark was amazing. And Tom says you suck. That's true. Blueless man, correct. Tom sending more pics. Yep. Kyle says about to thumbs down this thing. It would be deserved at this point, but remember this is my channel, not Brian's channel. So I mean it's Brian's channel in partnership.
You've made that very clear in the way you treat me that it's your channel.
Dude, you just ruined the stream. You just ruined.
Did I?
Just ruined it.
Ready? Here we go.
Okay, good. All right, that was great. It was a good pop. Elijah Craig always has good pops, as long as it's not the old bottles where the corks break.
In my entry proof, should I do a double zoom and see if I can't get the pour down?
Do a long pour. Just do a long pour.
Where's my glass?
It looks great, but it's like we're barely seeing it. Hold on, wait. Oh, crap.
What? America, friggin' America.
Nice. I like that. That's good.
Freedom. I poured so much to keep doing that. This is way too much stuff.
These glasses pour nicely back into the bottle, though, which you squad, you know that I am not above pouring back into the bottle. So, yeah, the Sprite note on the nose of this Legends is pronounced the lemon lime vibes, but I don't get a lot of citrus on the palate, which was weird.
So I popped this bottle. My thing is though, I can definitely talk about it, but I don't know if you could see, I brought out my other Elijah Craig picks because I was going to do a video. Even though this is 94 proof, and the same thing happens with like Buffalo Trace picks and whatever. I feel like sometimes people, I don't know, they don't go after picks very much if they like already have a bottle, even of affordable whiskey, because they're like, well, I already have Buffalo Trace. But there's so much variance in store picks. So I was actually going to bottle pop, or now I've already done it, so I can't. But I was going to taste this on one of my videos and basically taste through the other Elijah Craigs and talk about how you pull out flavors from whiskey.
Nice.
And so kind of describe the differences in all 4 of them, and then like maybe how to tell if one's fruitier than the other. Maybe how to tell if one's got more like vanilla or sugar browning than you are.
Yeah, I feel like people who I did a tasting video early on in my, which is, I've not been making videos that long, but early on. And the people who really care about it seem to really appreciate that video. Didn't get as many hits as a lot of the other videos, which is fine. I do it for the people who care. I don't do it for the hits.
Did I lose the video again? What is up with this video tonight?
I don't know, but at least we know it's not me.
Well, I mean, at least we're not glitching. I mean, this is just me temporarily popping away and Pop back.
Disabled.
I did it on purpose so I could dump some back.
Nice.
Suck it.
What should I go to next? I feel like I've been like controlling my consumption. I mentioned that was a goal of mine tonight because I hadn't drunk much the last 2 nights. So I was like, the temptation's going to be there to go hard, go very hard. I don't want to go very hard. I mean, I want to, but I don't want to. Such is human nature. I was going to say with Elijah Craig picks, I do enjoy the variants as well.
Nature, why,
a lot of them are very good.
Does he do me that way? Let me say why? Tell him that it's human nature. I'm getting it dizzy.
Is that Jamiroquai?
No, it's Michael Flippin' Jackson, you redneck.
I was born in 89. I mean, he was basically dead then. I apologize. All right, let's move on to the next.
Interesting.
Yeah, you hit us with the tasting notes on that one in a little bit. I want you to hit us with the next whiskey on your list while I pick out the next whiskey I'm going to drink.
Next whiskey on my list would be the 2007 release of George T. Stag.
The legendary. That's an honorable mention of mine. Why? So
for those who didn't know,
can you tell us why?
Yeah, for those who didn't know, the 2007 release of George T. Stag came out in 2007. This was not the first year of George T. Stag, but it was 144.8 proof. And from the ones that I have tried, everything that's been like the 2010 and below and before are just like, they're almost different beasts, but they're really interesting in their own right. I also, an honorable mention for my list would be something I used to have and it's gone, would be the 2012 George T. Stag. And then a runner up would be the 2014 George T. Stag.
Just all the stags.
Sorry.
I was thinking about popping that barrel 18 year, but I'm going to save that for another stream because we already did 2 bottle pops. So I'll just go with something that's open in a minute. I can't make up my mind. All right. Let's go with some honorable mentions. What are you? Do you still have more whiskeys? Because I can throw out some of my honorable mentions.
Dude, you can do whatever you want. I've got a super long list, so I'm just picking some of the tops.
Nice. All right, one of my honorable mentions. I had thrown out Booker's Rye, but Booker's 25. Yeah, I'm not huge on Booker's, but I enjoy it. I get in the mood for it. And Booker's 25 was supposed to be unbelievable, like substantially better than Booker's 30, and the best Booker's ever released after Booker's Rye. Which I'd be interested in hearing Brian's thoughts because he has a bottle of Booker's 25, or at least had one. That's me having not tasted it, wanting it because of its reputation. But what are your thoughts on Booker's 25, Brian?
Booker's 25 is a fantastic whiskey, and it is better than Booker's 30th. But Booker's 30th is also a very, very good whiskey. It would be one of my honorable mentions. So the 25 is interesting. The 25 is interesting when it comes to like an anniversary whiskey or an allocated whiskey in general. I feel like because it is, I think, is it a single barrel? Or was it a small batch? The taste of it is pretty traditional. Really good whiskey. It's not super flashy.
It's not like off profile or anything.
Not to me. It's just like a really great example of what whiskey is. So it's weird because it's both absolutely delicious and not super flashy at the same time. So it's kind of odd in that regard. I think everything else, it's kind of like, oh, wow, this is interesting. It does like this thing, or it's this blend of these things. And so it plays in this way. But Booker's 25th, it's like, that's pretty straightforward. in an absolutely delicious way.
Kyle says, going back to that barrel, is that barrel a store pick? No, it is not. It is a single barrel, but it's not a store pick. So it was just distributed in California, Red Hot Chili Pepper style. All right, what else? What's next on your list, Brian? And then I'll throw out another honorable mention while I still try and pick out a whiskey to drink. This is so good.
Yeah, another one that would be on my list would end up being a Van Winkle Rye from like 2013.
Oh, particular vintage.
Yeah, so I mean, for a while, you know, there's different progressions of stock of Van Winkle Rye, and there were times where it was like being mixed in of their own distillate, Buffalo Trace, I believe, distillate, and so newer stuff, I'm pretty sure is all Buffalo Trace distillate.
Mm-hmm.
But I was told that those 13s were just a little something special.
But we don't know
some of the tank juice. I don't know if it was Bernheim or what it was, but I was it's just been one that I wanted for a really long time. Cool. I almost worked out a trade with a guy for it, but
that's interesting. So do you think so that's going to lead into one of my honorable mentions that was really, really close to the list. Do you think that was Bernheim, which would have been Heaven Hill?
So at that time, hold on, let me at that time I don't think it was.
No, yeah, because Bernheim wasn't Heaven Hill. They got that distillery after the fire.
Yeah, there used to be a huge sheet of Van Winkle Rye years. Used to be a big old sheet that talked about booze stats. Let me see if this is it. There used to be something that went through like when it was supposedly, here we go. Medley. So in 2018, assumed to be new Buffalo Trace. In 2016, a mix of Cream of Kentucky and Medley, maybe Buffalo Trace. So that was that was actually 2013 on. But I heard the 2013 was still really good. 2012 back to 2004 is supposedly a mix of Cream of Kentucky and Medley. But the interesting thing is it's also questionable about it being 19 years old. Even though Van Winkle Rye has always been age dated as 13, it's age dated that it's actually 19. And then from 2003 back to 1997, it looks like it was rumored to be Medley, and it varied in age. So it was 12 years old for the first year, 13 the next, 14 the next, 15 the next, up into 18. And then it looks like around 14, it would have been tanked or something. So then it stopped at that like 19 years of age.
Got it. Interesting. We'll get to my honorable mention in a minute. Real quick, some things in the chat. John, I've got your note in Patreon, so don't worry. We'll hit you up in the next couple of days, man, and try and make sure you get your bottles. Fred, the glasses will ship when I can get them out. Certainly, my goal is to get them all to you by the end of May. So that would be technically when they are owed. Like this weekend, I'm going to be soups busy. Next weekend, I'm going to be not quite as busy. And so I can work on getting these shipped out. So just got to get the boxes in the filler. I don't want them broken when they show up at your door. Eric says he's taking off work tomorrow to ship them out. So rest is important, So yes, I'm golfing tomorrow. I'm not shipping out whiskey glasses. That is correct. I also just had a baby. I work a full-time job. And I have a whiskey hustle. So, yeah. But I'll get them out on time. I moved on to, so I'm going to hit my honorable mention in a minute. But what I'm drinking now is a Four Roses pick, which I had tasted this one. I normally only have one Four Roses pick open at a time. And I had tasted this one and I knew it wasn't going to be my favorite. So it was the one I opened next because I like to save good bottles for later, like an idiot. And this is fine. Like it tastes like a fine Four Roses. It's not super deep, not super sweet. Really perfumey, which I don't mind floral, but it needs some sweetness to balance it out. This one is not balanced. But still enjoyable. Like, can't complain. It's good whiskey. All right, my honorable mention was one of the old AF Rittenhouse picks. Not picks, but releases. The like 21, 22, 23, the old Rittenhouse rye releases. The museum type Rittenhouse. Because those are really, really unique. You don't see rye that old. Willet did some old rye releases, but other than that, I don't know of any north of 20-year-old rye releases. I mean, we couldn't even decide last week if Michter's had a 20-year rye, right? Did we ever figure they did a 25 rye release?
They have a 25.
Are you sure? I'm gonna look this up right now.
I'm positive.
Okay. Anyway, they're super rare, so that's on my list. Is the old Rittenhouse bottles. North of 20 years. Michter's 25. I'm Googling this right now. Yeah, okay, fine. Looks true. How much is that worth these days? Good grief. When was that released? Yeah, right. Oh, man. Yeah, do you know when that was last released? Because it's been a while.
I don't. I know that I've never been super interested in it. So,
I would be interested in anything that old. I don't know that it would be good, but it's just like it spends that much time in the barrel. And they do such a good job with their high-end bottles too. Just I mentioned that in my video. That 20-year bourbon with the silver, the 25-year bourbon with the gold, and then the Celebration Sour Mash with the metallic label. Oh, so good. Like, so cool looking. All right, what other whiskeys you got to hit us with, Brian, from your list?
So another one that I've been after for a while has been it's a Willet bottle, and it's a 14-year, I think 13 or 14, but I think it's 14-year bottle, 1406. This was a part of a run that came out, I think, during Kentucky, the KDF festival, a couple of years back, maybe 2018, maybe 2017. I don't quite remember. Maybe 2016. And it's rumored Brown Foreman. A lot of the things that came out that weekend in that similar run were speculated Brown Foreman juice. And it's just been one of my want list for a very, very long time.
So 14-year-old Brown Foreman. Interesting. Was it Kentucky? Yeah. Kentucky Brown Foreman? So like Woodford / Ofo?
Yeah, I mean, it would be like what King of Kentucky is without the heat cycling.
Yeah, because it would have been aged at Willet.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And so, like, I don't want to say honorable mentions because, I mean, these are all like their own levels, but I've got a whole list of Willet barrels, but I'll give one additional one. The other one that I've been after for a while has been 812. I don't remember if it's speculated to be any specific type of juice. I just know it's one of those bottles that has been cornered by people who have lots of money and really like Willet. And it's one of those things that as people drink them or as they're acquired by people who are into Willet, the pool, because it's just a single barrel, right? So that pool of 112 bottles, 120, maybe up to 140 or 160, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So it becomes more and more expensive to attempt to acquire it. So these are bottles that I just have kind of assumed I'll never ever get. But 812 and 1406 are ones that I would absolutely love.
Interesting. Your picks are really inside baseball. Like it's the geeky of the geek. I spend a lot of time learning about distilleries and mash bills, but you drill in so deep on a particular thing or something you had or something you heard about. I'm like, wow, I'd just be happy with any Willet family estate Willet Family Estate 14-year release. Not that I would pay for any one.
Yeah,
I was actually
have a
fortunate
slew.
to try one
I've
once.
tried a whole bunch of them, and I just know they're not necessarily equivalent.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's got to be the case. I had one other, and now I'm blanking. Oh, hold on. It's in my mind palace. I gotta find it. Okay, got it. So here's one I want to try that is going to be difficult to try because it's very limited release, but I'm just really curious about it. And it's the Bell Mead honey cask. So Bell Mead would have been, they use well-aged MGP and then they chuck it in a barrel that also aged some honey from a local hivery or honey brewery or whatever, maybe meadery, who's to say? I don't know how they work that barrel, but I think they give the barrel to somebody to age honey in. It ages the honey. They get the barrel back. They put well-aged MGP bourbon in it, and then eventually they bottle that. It's super hard to get, and you have to get it at the distillery when it's released. But I want to try that. So that sounds great. That sounds really yummy. So yeah, that would be on my list as kind of a wild card. It's probably not on my ultimates, but it's one of those ones that I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably pass over some fairly remarkable bottles just because I think that would be a remarkable experience. And I would like to see some other distilleries rip off that idea because I think that's an awesome idea versus like adding flavor, like maybe a Jack Daniels, maybe a Wild Turkey. Like, let's add some honey in there. It's like, no, let's put it in a honey barrel. That sounds cool. It's a better story, I think, than just making a honey liqueur.
Yeah, at least the first year, or maybe the second year, I don't remember when they started it, but was supposedly fire. I mean, at the secondary market, it was expensive. I don't know if it still is or not, but I will say, if you were interested in that, Nick Ellingsworth, he's one of the owners of Good Times Whiskey, Good Times Bourbon, excuse me. I don't know if you've seen them or not. They mainly are in like private groups, but they're local to here. And they buy like 7 and 8 year MGP, and they've put out a couple of honeys.
Really?
And he was doing something in one of the groups where he's like, he did a randomizer. It's like, I'll send you an ounce of Good Times bourbon and honey and an ounce of Bell Mead honey, but they're going to be blind. And you just tell me which one you prefer.
Nice.
I think they believed in it that much. And so I'm like, shoot. So I'm saying this mainly to you. Like, that might be something worth trying to track down or acquiring a bottle of if you've been interested in that. You might get something that's at least somewhat similar.
Sure. Good Times. Yeah.
I'm going to message them right now and see what.
Yeah.
How do I?
See what
they might have it at the.
Tell them
my video again.
Yeah, your
they
video
might have it at They might have it at the distillery.
We can have him on the pod or on the live stream at least. If he wants to send us some samples, we'll taste them with him. That'd be fun. Any others on your list, Brian?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you got a long list, dog. Holy smokes.
I told you. This one maybe a little bit more affordable. 1995 split label 12-year Wild Turkey.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure that's going to be really easily affordable.
Well, it's more affordable than most of the other ones that we've talked about on either of our lists.
It's fair. It's fair.
So, I mean, it's one of the, the same could be said really for the 12-101s. A lot of the Wild Turkey was 8-101. And, there are, when you get to some of the year, that's what's kind of special about the Cheese Gold Foil is a 12-year. And so getting in some of the 12-year Wild Turkey, you just get into more of the older, more of the dustier stuff. So this 1995 and some years around there, the split labels, or what they called faux split labels, so it kind of looked like it was split label. 12-year Wild Turkey juice, obviously, same mash bill. And some of those were ones that people would say would be like poor man's Cheesy Gold Foil. It would have some of the same je ne sais quoi, but isn't Cheesy Gold Foil.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of je ne sais quoi. Huge fan. That's a good pick. I like that one. Let me see. I said all the ones I wrote down, so I gotta go to my mind palace and feel if there's feel around, look around if there was any other. I mean, of course, there are many other whiskeys I'd like to have, but like really notable ones. Well, here's what I'll do. So the old label Elijah Craig 18, I had a chance to buy one once for $80, and I didn't because I was so new to bourbon. I hadn't had standard Elijah Craig yet. Actually, the day I passed on Elijah Craig 18 on the shelf was the first day I bought standard Elijah Craig. So that was a mistake. So I have newer label Elijah Craig 18, but I'd like to have one of the old ones too. I'd also love to try one of the old Elijah Craig 20s. I think that was only released once or maybe twice. There's Elijah Craig 21.
That pre-fire goodness.
Yeah, man. Of course, that's going to be super old, probably really oaky, but still, yeah, those older bottles you can't get anymore. There's an allure. There's a je ne sais quoi, if I dare say, related to
the je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, we'll make a shirt that says je ne sais quoi. And then I'm
je ne sais bourbon.
Yeah, I'm on a turkey kick right now. Like I would love to have a cheesy gold foil, or even something comparable to that old 8-year You Let Me Try. Man, that was great. That was so good. I loved that. Not extraordinary, but exactly what I'm looking for.
So I got that when the Four Roses pick that I went on was kind of like a surprise. Four Roses pick that I went on with Ryan Cecil, Bourbon Pursuit. And we were with Houston Whiskey Society, which is led by Chris Hart. And Chris Hart, he does the Whiskey Pete is what he does. He does this like ESPN show in Texas. And he interviews all these famous people, and he is who is behind the Prideful Goat stuff.
Is he really?
We've been
I didn't realize
seeing.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, he's the one that I bought that 8101 from, that leader. So,
do you think he's sitting on any more?
He might have some. I mean, it looked like it was pretty banged up. I was nervous too. I always hear those old bottles are going to have really, like, the cork's just going to be destroyed. And I'll try and find a picture, maybe throw it on Patreon. I don't know if they care or not, but that cork came right out of the bottle and fully intact, and I was like, yes, it's like a victory in Wild Turkey universe.
I have to run and use the bathroom real quick, as one does when they drink a lot of water. When I get back, I'll bring that bitters, the coffee bitters, and I'll make a little.
Well, what I want to throw out, I don't know that we actually did this yet, but you and I have been talking. You made a video about your list tonight. Yeah. We've been talking about my list, and you've been saying honorable mentions.
Yeah,
I want to know what Nation likes. What is
their golden goose
ultimate bourbon wish list? Let's throw some stuff out, so that some stuff that we can read. Drew will pop away. I'll look through it, and then he'll read that when he comes back.
I will. It'll be great.
So you guys gotta let me know, what do you prefer? The inch proof glasses that Drew has on his Instagram, like all precision cut or whatever, etched, or these dope one-off hand done inch proof glasses? Let me know. Also in the comments. Good call, Tom Lynch. Jack Daniel's single barrel strength rye. Good call. Eric Sawyer with the King of Kentucky. Great call. Fantastic pour. Red rum glasses. Jeez Louise, what are you talking about? Oh, is that what it looks like on the mirror? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Ugh. Oh, man. H-shaded Noah's Mill 15. Yeah, that's I remember also having an Ezra Brooks 15-year 101 and it was awesome. Nah, Tom, yes, you can. You can have dream bottles. It doesn't have to be anything insane. These lists grow, man. They grow as we grow. Whatever you're into, and then if you get a chance to try it or grab one, then you move down the list. You add more stuff to your list. I didn't try to get it. If you were interested in the honey, I will pick one up next time. Greenbrier's here in Nashville. I have seen the Greenbrier stuff. Really pretty label, but I have not tried it. I have had Bell Mead on maybe 2 occasions. I think I've tried maybe a Black Bell, and I thought the Black Bell from a couple years ago was really dope. And then let's see. Yeah, when is the next honey release? Honestly, I had a buddy who had asked me 2 years ago. He said, "Hey, I can get one of the honeys. Do you want one?" And I was like, $115 sounds like a lot. No. And I passed, and I immediately regret it. Eric's asking, let's see, any news on Four Roses Distillery next week? I did hear them say that they were sold out today until their delivery next week. Take it for what it's worth. Got tight with the Mictors 25. Great. Daniel, kind of way into craft stuff, so an older and finished version of my favorite local would be awesome. Dope. William Wiley dropping the Double Eagle Very Rare 20. I feel like I never hear anyone talk about that.
What a boss. Yeah, shoot high, man. I'd be tempted to buy that bottle. It's a lovely bottle, and it's so rare that, that's kind of why not once in a lifetime? Let's go. All right, coffee bitters. This is interesting. So I don't have any sweetener in here. I'm going to taste it kind of straight up, and then I'm going to add some bourbon to it. So I'm just going to put it here in this. So Stateline Bitters is the name. Wow, good grief. It smells so much like coffee. So I'm going to get a couple pumps here. I want a decent amount of this in here because I want to taste the living daylights out of it.
Eric, no, I did not enter it. I always just get nervous that that's like a super deep money grab, and that there are people who drop tons of money at this place, and people who just have tons of money that they're like, oh, it's fine. I'll throw $1,000 for entries, and that I'd never have a shot. So I just don't bother with those.
Andrew says he'd like a Kentucky Owl Batch 1 rye. He has the 2 and the 3. Dude, 1, I was able to try that thanks to actually Scott from My Bourbon Journey. It was really, really good. Eric Sawyer says Old Forester birthday bourbon. I was able to try 2020. Enjoyed it. Wasn't blown away. I've not been blown away by anything Old Forester, actually. I enjoy some Old Forester stuff, but I want to be blown away by one.
It was an honorable mention for me. I had an 85 Old Forester Balled and Bond. That was fantastic.
Interesting.
Andrew Beck saying, especially with Dixon leaving, yeah, that was wild to see. He'd love a Kentucky Owl Rye Batch 1. You didn't read that? He's leaving Kentucky. The next product that the batch whatever bourbon, we already knew that the rye was going to be like the end of the rye, but he says the next bourbon is the last one that's going to carry his name, and he's moving on to other stuff.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so
I know. I guess I'm gonna go buy some of that rye. I know where there's batch 3 rye still in Milwaukee. I guess I'm gonna go get some.
Kentucky Owl batch 2 rye was pretty close to batch 1, but I preferred 1. Then when 3 released, I blinded 1 and 3, thinking there's no way that it would be better than 1, and the 3 beat out 1 for me.
Get out of here. Yeah.
I didn't do the blind more than once, though, but I think Kentucky Owl 1 is one of the best ryes out there. It's just so interesting.
If anybody is in and around Milwaukee and wants a tip on where they can pick up Kentucky Owl Batch 3 still at MSRP, hit me up in my DM. All right, so this smells like coffee.
Tom says talk to Brian about the 117. I'm assuming you're talking about your blind that I gave you, Tom.
Love to try the 117.
No, we're not talking about trying. He just said to ask you about it.
No, I know that it's supposed to be really good, and it's short barrels, which I love. So, but it's in Kentucky only. But you gave Tom some. That's well of you. It was nice of you.
The batch is supposed to be releasing here soon too.
I saw that. All right.
Maybe next week. I don't remember.
All right. This tasted or smelled a lot like coffee, like so much coffee. But then also kind of this maraschino cherry, kind of sweet fruitiness. And then on the palate, it's big time orange peel and stale coffee. So this is the thing with a lot of coffee products or coffee derivatives, is the coffee tastes stale. Of course, I'm drinking straight bitters here, so I'm like, good night. Like there's a flavor. I might get sick. I'm gonna get the runs from this. But crazy bitter. Like reminiscent of like Malort. Because it's a bitters, but it's this orange peel. It's just like or like grapefruit / citrus orange peel. And then coffee's mainly in the olfactory, like upper olfactory. The nasal qualities, it's not really on the palate as much, just drinking the bitters straight. So now I have a decent amount of bitters in here, as you see, and I'm going to add some bourbon. I'm going to just do Elijah Craig. I've got some Elijah Craig standard small batch here to add to this, and then kind of go from there. Again, no sugar added, which normally you'd, of course, add sugar to an old fashioned. I'm not doing that. I'm just adding a little bourbon to help kind of bring some balance. I had a palate cleanse though. That was intense. Okay.
I'm gonna have to see how this this new Elijah Craig opens up. I'm not in love with it. Fresh pop.
Dude, I had one Elijah Craig pick that was dog crap. Most Elijah Craig picks I've had have been great, enjoyed them. But I had one that was garbage. It was hard to drink.
Just gotta get past the neck pour. I mean, I think it's just a little heated. I just gotta rub off a little bit. Neck pours. You know what you got to do sometimes?
I got raked over the coals when I said that the neck pour wasn't a thing on the Bourbon Junkies when they had me on their show. I was like, is the neck pour a thing? Is it? And they're like, no, man, it is. And nice. That's who is that? That's what's the guy's name?
Now that is good.
The Likes, I think it is. Like Dan Like, who makes these videos just absolutely just like, hey, it's my bourbon, I'll do what I want. He's actually seems like a good guy, so I'm not gonna bash him. But it's like
there's
people would want to try that.
What's so weird about this? I didn't taste this, and I feel like I'm gonna have to pour the bourbon on some. I did not taste this in whiskey alone, but with the Coke added, it's got some like orange and vanilla pop through. It tastes like a vanilla Coke with orange.
So let me finish what we're doing with this coffee bitters. Coffee comes out now. I mean, the addition of the bourbon to the coffee bitters is fun. Like if you were to add this and just like a few drops of espresso, I feel like coffee bitters, a few drops of espresso on top of a standard old fashioned, I feel like that would make a pretty awesome coffee cocktail.
I have several coffee cocktail recipes. If you want me to throw some in light of using coffee, I'd love to try it, or I can send them to you.
Oh, I have my signature. Or you want to try the bitters? Because I was
saying I could do the bitters and not have coffee.
So here's the thing. It's a bourbon. Oh yeah. So I love coffee cocktails. Interesting, fun mashup. But Nation, if you want to see Stone Creek coffee bitters, if you want to buy some, if you want them given away to certain Patreon members, let me know, because we're debating, like, should we do this? Is this a thing we should try and bring to market? If it is, let me know. If you're like, no, I would never buy that, tell me now, please, and save us the money. But it's this is actually the first time I tried it. It was part of my job to taste test this, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it on live stream. Dang it! So that's what I'm doing. And interesting, really promising. I enjoy it.
Sick.
Yeah. So tell me if you think it's a good idea or not. Matt Schwanda, has anyone tried the Maker's 2021 LE? I picked up a bottle today for $70, but I haven't opened it yet. Matt, I actually have one. I have not tried it yet. We're at 60 likes. We got 51 people watching now. If we get to 75 likes, I'll add we'll do another bottle pop tonight, and I'll open the 2021. Let's just wait now. See what happens. We're at 60 likes. We get to 75 likes in the next 10 minutes. We'll close this thing out with a Maker's 2021 bottle pop. So, well, 9:45. That's the cutoff for the bottle pop. Otherwise, I'm sure I'm actually planning on doing a video of the 2020 against the 2021. Other folks have done that. It's hit or miss. Dave Jennings of Rare Bird said he likes the 2020 better. Bourbon Junkies, they did the 2021. They said they like that better. Dixon Deadman.
21 here. You should send me I've never had the 2020.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I'm running low, so if you want some, let me know now. Dixon Deadman says he likes the 2021 better than the 2020. Brian, we gotta save it. I think I don't know where I can get minis of those for next week, so I might have to go get full bottles.
Oh, come on, Eric Sawyer. I ended up doing the bottle pop. I was just joshing with you guys. It was still, I popped 2 bottles still, technically.
Yeah, and I popped a bottle. There were plenty of bottle pops, so if anybody wants to get critical that we didn't pop bottles tonight.
This is OnlyFans level content that we got into tonight.
Why must there? It seems like in every whiskey video there has to be an OnlyFans joke, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why. I mean, you're suggesting that it was an intimate level of content, and I would agree with that, but not in that kind of content. It's just like, well, can we just like
just because me and Tom have an OnlyFans doesn't mean that you can trash us like that.
I'm not trashing you. I'm just saying
you're wanting to be on.
It feels a little juvenile. That's all. Now, granted, much of what I do is juvenile, infantile.
Yeah,
even.
I would say 80%.
A solid majority. I hear that, but I also, I feel like there's some redemptive value to the channel. Fred says coffee bitters is very interesting and he would like to try it. Well, Fred, I owe you your dang sample still of the old Scout 10 years single barrel, which I still have. And dang it if I don't send this in the next 5 days. Fred, I will get this out to you next week. I swear. I swear on my dead grandma. I enjoy Coke. I barely ever drink it, but when I go back to it, I'm like, wow, this is so good, but I can barely have any of it. Because I stopped drinking soda a while ago, but it's delicious.
I'm gonna have to do it again. I want to make more.
John White says save it for a full review. I assume he's talking about the Makers. Probably will. We're at 65 likes, so yeah, probably gonna save it. William says he just popped a bottle of Weller Antique 107. Dude, I love 107. Some people say it's not as good as it was. I don't care. It's really good. I don't know what it was. Tom says he's wondering if he can charge you for the pictures he's been sending you.
Yeah, whatever he wants, man. All right.
Coffee's really in the palate now with that bourbon. That really helped open those bitters up. Go ahead, Brian. What?
I'm going to throw the whole thing back.
You're going to shoot. Did you add any alcohol to that, or is it just straight Coke?
Did you miss me doing that? I did.
No. Okay. All right. Chug.
I'm wanting this to get to 75 likes. But if cola grosses people out, that they're not going to like this video.
We didn't ask them to like it for your Coke chug. That's 10 likes. That means
No.
we'd have to be on here for like another half an hour.
I'm not asking for more likes for the chug. I'm trying to just give them more stuff.
Hey, Fred, yeah, I mean, content is good. I can throw some craft whiskey samples out.
Kyle, when you come up next, this is going to be my new drink. This 12-year-old Elijah Craig with Coke. The only thing I think would make this better would be if I had some coffee bitters in here.
Yeah, agreed. I think coffee bitters are a must.
No,
Fred,
John White. It is not a Jack and Coke. It is a 12-year Elijah Craig pick and Coke.
Fred says to send the... There we go. I'm going to finish the video like this. Fred says to send the sample that I owe him with the glass as a Patreon supporter, which he is. And Fred, I will totally do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it this week. I'll get your glass out first because I owe you that sample. And like a apathetic piece of garbage, I've not sent it yet. So the other person who won a sample that night of the Old Scout 10-year was Eric Sawyer, who just happens to live in Milwaukee. So he got his like a month and a half ago. Sorry. But I think we should do a whole show, Brian, where we zoom in like as far as we can. I mean, yours was pretty good. My focus is going to go if I... Yeah. I mean, how creepy would this be? It's kind of ASMR though. Yeah. It's like a pretty decent visual, and then if we
hold on, guys, here we go.
Tonight we're gonna drink bourbon.
Tonight we're gonna be drinking bourbon.
We're gonna drink a lot of bourbon.
We're gonna drink a lot of bourbon.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be delicious.
Elijah Craig, barrel proof B521.
George T Stag.
And
William LaRue Weller. I think we're earning followers. I mean, people listen to this when they go to bed. Like,
here we go.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's go in for the 6x zoom.
Okay. It's a good shot of your microphone.
I can't. It's going to come out my nose.
Good morning or good evening. As you lay down, your head on the pillow, listen to the sounds of us drinking bourbon. Ponder the joys of life. You feel the calm rush over you. You're relaxed now. No muscles are moving. Your chakras are aligning.
Oh, geez.
The spirit of the Eastern Seaboard. No, but I've done yoga before.
Yeah, I was going to say, you sound very, like, weirdly encouraging or something.
Dude, if you guys... so here's the thing about doing yoga. You know, even if you're just doing the stretchy kind, you know...
about the dumbest stuff.
Well, listen, I've said before, I've owned many times, I'll own again, that this is not... I am not, maybe necessarily, your quintessential, like, stereotypical bourbon drinker. I'm okay with that. Nation's okay with that. And you know what? It is what it is. Like, I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to talk about whiskey, learn about whiskey, share whiskey. But yeah, I golf. Yeah, I have done yoga before. Yes, I like my jeans to fit a little bit tighter than most. Is that a problem? I don't think it has to be a problem. If it's a problem for you, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay.
The new generation of the tight jeans is not okay.
Anybody who wants to drink bourbon, let's get in here. Let's talk about bourbon. That's what this is about. If you want to be critical of my having done yoga, well, okay. Anyway, though, what I was saying is if you have done yoga, it is remarkable how much that, like, just purposeful stretching and breathing, how dope that makes you feel. Like, it's remarkable. I highly recommend it.
If the direction of which you need to go in with your class, I mean your channel.
Bourbon yoga. It's not a bad idea. Except the downside is I suck at it. I am the least flexible person in the history of the world. You already said you
suck at golf, but you're all about that.
Yeah, I actually don't much enjoy yoga because it's so difficult. But I'm just saying that if you purpose to do it, it really helps you like get ready for bed. So if you struggle with insomnia, this has all been a PSA. Oh my gosh.
And I got pause phased.
You deserve it. John White says it sounds like Caddyshack. I saw Caddyshack once. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but we can do the Bill Murray impression. So on the 18th hole at Augusta, former greenskeeper about to become Masters champion. Oh, is it a hole? Anyway, we'll do that some other time. We can break out into more impressions. I need Nation. I need you guys to let me know. Are there other folks in the whiskey community where you'd like to hear my my impressions of? Because so far I have a Fred. I need to revisit the ADHD one because I was put on the spot, had no time to prepare, and did not do as well as I would like to do. But I'm confident that I can crush that one. I did somebody else. Oh, I did Matthew McConaughey too at the intro of a video. Going back and listening to it, my voice was not as deep as his is naturally. It's remarkable how Southern he is and how deep his voice is with the Southernality. Like the nasal tonality of a lot of Southern accents, like lends themselves to be kind of higher pitched, like the nasal. But with him, he's still got this deep kind of like erotic tonality, which lends itself well to Lexus commercials, which he does. That I was having trouble combining a more guttural, deep voice tonality with the nasal Southern drawl. So whatever, we'll keep working on it. Fred says, I should have samples ready for you both next week that I've gotten from Bourbon Pursuit and the Someone Say Whiskey group for you next week to blind if you want in a stream. That sounds awesome. We definitely will. Next week, for those of you who are still in the chat, we're going to have a great time because we are being joined by Jason, the Mash and Drum, Jason. And we're going to have a little taste-off journey with some Evan Williams stuff. So that'll be fun. We'll talk to Jason really about his journey, his passion for whiskey, where it came from, the point of his channel, the existential reason his channel exists, and where he wants to take it in the days ahead. He and Scott Page at My Bourbon Journey, they've recently teamed up, and so they started doing some stuff together more purposefully. But he'll be on the channel next week. And yeah, he's a fun chat for sure. So I think next week will be good vibes faux show. Oh, William Wiley says from impressions, I should do Dan or Rex from the Whiskey Vault / Whiskey Tribe. That's a great idea. That is a great
real quick,
idea.
do you want to, I mean, it may not matter what if Nation is like, oh, I'm about that, I'm not about that. But you were talking to me about whether or not we should be putting up. So let me back up. Talking with Tom, we were talking about when we have guests that are on Entry Proof Live, that it doesn't exactly make for the most exciting listen backs if you are joining us on the live, but you also tune into the podcast. And so with Dave Jennings, we recorded off and we were going to have a separate Entry Proof Live where he's on, and it could be like a follow-up where people can ask him questions and we could just chit-chat in a different way. But Drew was talking to me this week saying he still thinks that it could be wise, like with Jason or anyone else, that we still take the audio from the lives and put it on the podcast because there are people who maybe don't watch the streams that will listen to the podcast and wonder if we should always have episodes that are titled Entry Proof Live or something like that with some sort of preface that says, here is this interview. I don't want to take away content from anybody, but I also don't want to make all content out there for people, because there are some of you who just join in on YouTube, and then there are people who join in the podcast. There's a crossover, of course, of all that while we do the different mediums. I just want to know if you're going to be upset by that, basically. Like I said, we probably will still do it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we decided what we're going to do.
Why would they be upset?
No, just because I feel like we want to make sure we have a more steady stream of new content, if that were going to be the case. But it's just the time. It's just the time to sync it all up, to get it all done, get it all edited, get it all out.
Bada bing, bada bing. I told you, it's like download it and upload it, but
yeah, the injury proof lives could be as simple as us just taking the absolute raw, everything that was in the live, not cutting crap out, and just because even when we have taken audios that's been from a live and put it over, I usually take out all the stuff where we're addressing you all in the chat and remove it for audio.
We wouldn't want to do that. That'd be so much work. It would be just the raw conversion. So it's really like, if you guys missed a live stream, would you want to be able to digest that, just the audio, later, in the car or whatever? I say yes. I say that I think we should do that. I think we should make it available. But it's really, I think Brian's question to Nation is good. What do you guys want? Would you like that? Or you're like, no, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Just give us your feedback.
And we've asked you this before, but I'll just directly ask you again. What do you guys want? What do you guys want to either see or hear? Because now we've got, and Drew and I were talking about this a little bit. So this is kind of a conversation to one another while also being a conversation with you. Drew obviously does his videos. I'm starting to do my videos. We have injury proof lot. You stupid video. See, as soon as you zoomed in, my camera got scared.
What do you want? Brian's asking Neat Nation. What?
Stop.
Do you want?
So gross. So gross. So Drew's got his videos. I'm going to start doing my videos. Also, so that you guys are aware, it was Tom's request that we attempt to get podcast episodes out. Excuse me. On Wednesdays. So that you have time to digest by Thursdays. Thursdays are our live stream. Drew puts videos out on Mondays. I'm going to start putting videos out on Tuesdays. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, ideally, content coming out from Injury Proof. But we just want to know what you want to see. Again, you have Drew's videos, you have my videos, we have the podcast, and then we have this live channel as well. So we're trying to do mixed media and hit on what you guys would want to hear or see or who, whatever. I don't know.
So yeah, give us some feedback if you have it.
Your bitter stuff still?
Yeah, I'm just going back to it. I'm doing some work. I'm killing two birds with one stone. So the doc says, yes, we should take it audio. Eric Sawyer says he wants more golf, which Eric and I have played golf together now a couple times. Kindred spirits. So Anne of Green Gables, cheers. Eric is a good guy, and I enjoy him. And yes, if I had somebody who was a video producer who wanted to make golf videos, that would 100% happen. As it is, there's just not time. Whiskey videos are easier to make. For Tom's sake, if I did decide to produce more golf content, I would keep it off of this channel. I would create a different channel for the golf. So
good.
Yeah. Wow, you need to figure out something with your camera. Not sure what that deal is.
I don't know what is. I'm going to have to talk to you about what you do with your camera, because I don't know why this camera is so fidgety when it comes to just feeding the dang stream.
Well, mine is brand new, like brand new. But what's interesting is the webcam app should allow me to like adjust focus and everything. It doesn't work at all. So I have to set the focus and the light features on the camera before I hook it up to the computer. If I don't, I can't change it once it hooks up. So which is what went wrong in my recording for last Monday is I ran it through the computer. Next week, I won't run it through the computer. I'll just record it on the phone, which that does raise the risk that I'll just lose the recording or I won't record all of it.
Yeah, keeping up with video content's been tricky.
It's tough. A lot can go wrong.
I've had to redo both the videos that have been posted several times, and then I've got other video content that I'm editing that I've had to edit, that I've had to redo a couple of times. And then I've got 2 weeks from now content that I have 2 versions of that I'm just trying to figure out the best version of. So it's nuts.
It's yeah. There's a banter about golf. But Fred says if he wants to listen to the live stream, I can just play the YouTube and listen to it. You can, Tom, but here's the thing is there are some people who are YouTube people,
Fred.
Some people who are podcast. What did I say?
Tom.
Dang it. Of course I meant Fred. There's some people who are YouTube people and some people who are podcast people. So, and it's not a one-to-one. So, I mean, like, of course we asked Nation on the YouTube because you were the first Nation. But there might be Nation members, again, kindred spirits who are more podcast people who just aren't on YouTube yet because they don't know better. And we would want to make sure that if we were producing dank content on YouTube, they were able to at least access the non-visual side. So that's a.
I feel like this allows for the place to say, just saying. If you were to, and most of you probably do.
Brian, here's
on Patreon. That allows us the ability to continue to produce content for you all. So at this time, this is just at this time, this is just a little side thing that we do, and it helps. And Drew's put in some money for what he's been doing. I've put in some money for what I've been doing, and we do it, and we like to do it, and we want to continue to like what we do it. We want to continue to make sure that we're giving stuff for you all that you dig. So yeah, I'm going to jump in. Antonio asks Russell's Reserve 2003 worth its price. I was not a fan of Wild Turkey.
You would like this question.
What?
I knew you would like this question.
Antonio Diaz, why don't you check out the video I just recorded? So we did a podcast, so it was not here on the live, but with David Jennings, Rare Bird 101. And I asked him this question, and he says...
You can check that podcast out at entryproofpodcast.com. Link in the show notes below.
And David Jennings said that he is a Wild Turkey Masters Keep 17-year fan. I, on the other hand, spoiler, am not. But if you want to know what I think about the Russell's Reserve 2003 and if it's worth its price, check out the video, because I do a comparison where I just talk about the two taste wise. Now, you might want to mention in the chat worth its price, meaning what? Meaning its retail price? Like, are you in Pennsylvania where it just popped up at the Pennsylvania lottery? Or is it worth its price on secondary? Because those are two very different numbers. Okay, Fred says he loves the idea MSRP of 4 days of unique content.
Which is what we were talking about.
So that would be Drew content. That would be me content. That would be the podcast, and then live staying separate from the podcast.
Not necessarily, because sometimes we do different, sometimes we do the same. So Anyway, real quick, going back to the Wild Turkey Russell's 2003. So Russell's MSRP on that was high. It's $250 MSRP. Secondary value, I think, is in the $550 to $600 range right now. So yeah, it's tough to spring $550 to $600 for anything. But I mean, in terms of MSRP, it's a pretty special bottle. Like, we're talking about the very last of the old entry proof, like the original Wild Turkey entry proof. And obviously we care a lot about entry proof on this show. as you can see.
So here's one thing that I don't think I do in all my videos, which maybe I should, which is like if I'm talking about something to say, if you weren't going to get this, what you should get. And I feel like I definitely didn't, because I'm trying to be time conscious on my videos. And in terms of secondary price, again, I cannot say whether it's worth something to you all, but it does double plus, like 2.5 times its retail value. That's a lot. And other things that you could get in that range, well, nearly anything. You could get a whole lot of actual dusty turkey for that price. So, it depends on what you're going for in that pour. It is 89.5 proof. So even an old 8101 bottle, even an old decanter, would actually give you higher proof in actual dusty content. Would it be as complex? Probably not. So it depends on what you're looking for when it comes to that. Russell's Reserve 2003 to me is pretty good. And I think it's more viscous than the proof lets on. What
Bigger
else would
mouthfeel.
have that kind of flavor?
It's a bigger mouthfeel.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what else, like what other whiskeys have that kind of profile. But like, this is one instance where I can't say Barge. Well, here we go. But the problem is it's similar secondary. Like Chateau de la Baude, finished Bardstown Bourbon Company, I'd probably pick that over
The Wild
Russell's
Turkey.
2003.
Yeah, right.
If something is going for 2.5 over MSRP,
we'll hit this question and then we
gotta
gotta go. I gotta go to bed. But yeah, that's a good question. All right,
you gotta go to bed. It's 11 o'clock where I'm at.
Look,
he says,
I can't control your time zone. Okay, I'm just saying I'm tired.
Tom says, sounds like you boys need to decide how much content you want. This comes from the guy who messages you and me all the flipping time. He's like a Patreon Plus supporter.
Yeah, he's OG.
Antonio Diaz. So he said, if something's 2.5 over MSRP and people are paying for it, does that mean it's due? It's due. It's great flavor. It's
probably hype, man. Hype.
Yeah. It's a number of things. And I say that because like, even, I don't know if you jumped in early in the show or not, but we were talking about this Four Roses run. So there's a new run of Four Roses. And I don't know if it's the people who are invested in other bottles of this from their local markets, and they're trying to continue to drive hype, continue to drive price. But the secondary on this run is insane. And when I think about it, it's like, is it really worth like 2 LEs for one of the single barrel product?
Are you serious? People are dropping.
It's not that much.
Okay.
This run, people are dropping $5.50 immediately to buy a bottle from this run.
That's crazy.
Immediately.
That's insanity.
Immediately. Yeah. So that right there, that price then
who has this money? Who?
This is
real quick.
This was
real quick.
This is
who has
$75.
this money?
So what's 550 divided by 75?
A lot. It's a lot of
5.75.
It's more like 6.
7. That's over 7 times MSRP. So maybe it is great. Maybe it is great. Maybe it is collectors. A lot of it is hype. A lot of it's driven. And I feel like you see it the most with Buffalo Trace stuff. But here we are talking about like we haven't really talked about a lot of Buffalo Trace or Sazerac stuff tonight. So
Tom, you should never feel underappreciated at all, ever. Not once. How dare you? How dare Brian
maybe a little bit
insinuate that you should feel that way?
I think you
we're
should.
getting there's 35 watchers left. I got to go to bed, but we keep getting good questions. Tyler H says Knob Creek 120 proof or Knob Creek 120 proof store pick always. It's just I found them to be generally better. Yeah. So it's just it comes with a little bit more care in the selection, you know.
Guys, here's what's interesting. If you've not been directed, I'm not even going to tell you to go to entryproofpodcast.com. I'm going to tell you if you've got questions. No one actually really uses this, but you can email us entryproofpodcast@gmail.com. And I think that link is on the website, though, if you check us out. Any questions you have, even if you think it's kind of silly, like these little Knob Creek picks versus store picks, man, I'd love to tell Drew that we have one of these questions come in. I don't know if he checks the email and chew on some of these questions with you guys. We don't actually get anyone who emails us, which is it makes sense because you could also like shoot us a line on Instagram, which is @entryproof podcast,
and that's generally what people do. That's what I would prefer.
And we both respond there, or if you tag @Drew Whiskey @Abandoned Bourbon, then
like Tom does,
in a little chat, then you can see who's responding, and we respond pretty much back and forth.
Yeah, but highly recommend you do that.
Chatting with us on social media, we are pretty active. There's sometimes during a work day that it takes us work time to respond back to you, but we are on those platforms pretty easily.
All right,
and we
chat
about this stuff all the time.
Yep, we do. We got to wrap it up though. I'm fading fast.
Old Mr. 10 o'clock, whatever.
I got a baby. Okay, my sleep has been messed up.
Night owl here.
You or me? Not me.
I was contemplating recording a video after this.
You should.
For Need Nation.
Good for you.
Because I'm committed to you.
So here's the thing. It seems like human beings can operate on a variety of sleep. Some 7 hours, they're fine. Me, I prefer to be in bed for 8.5 hours. Not that I sleep that whole time, but that's what I need. As my boss has said, we've discussed before, I have the disposition of a delicate flower. I benefit from some rest. Anyway, squad, thank you for joining. It was a fun night tonight. Obviously, we went quite long.
I never sleep. I never sleep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry.
I never sleep, squad. @Abandoned Coffee, @Abandoned Bourbon on Instagram. I'll talk to you forever.
Okay. So all Brian, I'm trying to sign us off
forever.
Oh my gosh. Eric said this super chat is for Tom. Tom is a hero, and he's been modding for me since early. So Tom, thank you, dog, for modding. Appreciate the effort and your fandom. Fred also would definitely call out Fred and Eric, as well as Liberty Not Licensed is also, he was in the chat earlier, and anybody I missed who's been tracking with us. Appreciate you all for sure. If you haven't yet, make sure you maybe support us on Patreon, patreon.com/entryproofpodcast, because you can get some exclusive picks now. Double Oaked Rye.
Like the Starlight picks that are up
so
right
good
now.
Yep. But you can do that if you want
now.
to. If you don't, that's totally fine, because we'll give you the code with whatever barrels are left next week. On Monday, next Monday, my new video is going to be the bourbons/whiskeys you should be hunting right now. Like, if there's anything that you're not aware of that you need to be aware of, you should go get it. So that's what I'm going to talk about on Monday.
On Tuesday, I'm breaking down the not entry proof Starlight pick, the Cognac Rye.
Nice. The one that we tasted, that I haven't tasted since then, but I was not a huge fan of when we were there, which is why it's not an entry proof one. It was a collaborative effort to pick, but some people liked it a lot, so that'll be fun. Would like to taste that again, sort of in retrospect, but we'll see at some point.
You should have asked for one, but you didn't.
I did not. Squad in the chat just below if any of you guys are in need of coffee, as many of us are in the mornings to stay energized. You need fuel. That code to get 15% off at stonecreekcoffee.com for our followers, that's still active. Brian, if you want to get us a code for Quills, we'll throw that in here as well. But
yeah, dude, just code you say 15% off?
Yeah, whiskey 15 is the code at stonecreekcoffee.com. You get free shipping as well. Whiskey 15. If you've used it once, you can use it one more time.
Dude, I'm gonna do entry proof.
Entry
I'm gonna set it up right now.
All right.
Use entry proof at coolestcoffee.com. You get 15% off.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right, everybody, have a good night. Sleep good. Do your thing. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Per usual. Keep it neat. Bye.
Cheers, guys.